We're back here at the Tulsa Arms Show. I'm here with Jim Supica, director of the NRA Museums. And this is the part I really like, Jim, when you're just kind of, we're freewheeling now. We've seen spectacular firearms. We talked to wonderful people. Now, whatever comes up here that's of interest, we're right behind the NRA Museums booth. So Jim's out there cherry picking, finding some great stuff. So, sir, what did you find for us for Curator's Corner?
Well, Gail came up to our booth today, and he had with him a very rare firearm that is a very historic model for a couple of reasons. One, it's very pivotal in the evolution of firearms in that fascinating era, the 1840s, 1850s, 1860s, when you saw the transition from muzzle loaders to breech loaders, from cap and ball and loose powder to cartridges. This model was very pivotal in that evolution, and also it's very significant in the people that it brought together. You know, you think of these huge firms and being separate individuals, and these guys all knew each other. They were all working together in the Connecticut Valley. That was the Silicon Valley of the era. That was technology. That was the highest technology going on in the world. It was right here in America, and the real technological breakthroughs were happening in firearms, whether it's development of the repeating mechanism or methods of mass production first applied to firearms. But this particular gun, well, tell us what we've got here, Gail.
1852, first model Jennings rifle.
And it's part of a series of guns that led to two very famous companies, and probably the style of rifle that is most associated with America, and that is this is the beginning of the evolution towards the Winchester lever action repeater. Now, before this, you had a hunt rifle, and there's really only one of those known in existence. So this is probably the next one in line. And Jennings, what they were using, it was a step towards self-contained metallic cartridges. It used what they called a rocket ball. So instead of pouring the powder down, ramming the bullet down, this guy poured the powder into the hollow base of the bullet, sealed the base, and then they explained the priming mechanism that he
They had
used on
pellets
this.
of priming compound, and this would open here.
Let me turn this around so they can kind of see the action side of this.
And you'd open it, and it had pellets of priming compound, kind of like little grains of, little grain, pieces of grain.
Right.
And they would fall down into the action when the action was working, kind of like a corn planter, one seed at a time. And it's just a round little thing, and then you pull the trigger, and it theoretically go bang.
Yeah.
So how efficient was that, Jim?
Well,
How did it work?
you know, it didn't set the world on fire, but it brought together some very important names in firearms manufacturing at this time. It was succeeded by other companies in a very short period of the 1840s through the 1850s. You saw a rapid succession of firearms development and different companies. Each of these companies just lasted a couple years, but you had, it was Robinson Lawrence who was making these. And the guys that came together working on this design were a guy named B. Tyler Henry, and then a guy named Daniel B. Wesson, and a guy named Horace Smith.
Okay.
And these guys worked together on a series of these guns, and each one was a little more of a refinement, improved that round a little bit, attached the primer to the base of the round rather than having the little pellet, and eventually that evolved into the Smith & Wesson repeating rifle, which was the first Smith & Wesson partnership, and then it became the volcanic arms, and they got an investor involved, a guy who was primarily a shirt manufacturer, and Smith & Wesson gave up on the lever action that it developed. They developed this into a lever action repeater called the Volcanic eventually. Smith & Wesson gave up on it. The shirt manufacturer bought him out. His name was Oliver Winchester. He saw promise in that. He kept working with B. Tyler Henry, developed the Henry repeating rifle, the famous Henry from the Civil War, and eventually Winchester started his own firm with the Winchester Model 1866, the Golden Boy leading to the Model 1873, the gun that won the West, and they all started here with this Jennings rifle. Wow. So it's a rare gun. It's a treat to get to see this. I really appreciate you bringing this in.
Gail Steinhauer, thank you for sharing your little treasure here with us on Curator's Corner. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
It's been
Jim.
an honor.
Thank you.